Guys, Dolly Lace here, also known as Octopus Doll Cosplay, and before we begin the video, just warning, I do talk about gore and draw gore, so, yeah, if you don't like that shit, go away, but I am drawing some anthro hybrid gore monsters because YouTube keeps recommending me furry content, and I'm actually pretty inspired by it. People do some weird-ass fursuits, and I love them, so I'm like, let me make my own weird anthro characters just for the hell of it. So this is one I did for myself. She's an axolotl cat named Flesh, and I'm in the process of putting clothes on her because, yeah, I'm not drawing like sexy shit. I just drew it like that because I don't know what to put on her. But I am at a loss for the clothing on the top for her because I suck at drawing clothes. So my friend wanted me to draw her own anthro creature, so I'm working on this possum goat zombie. But today I'm going to show you the line art for it, and me doing a speed draw of the line art. It took me about an hour and a half to do this line art because I stress so much when it comes to drawing. It's just, yeah, it's not my forte. It used to be. I used to love to draw, and then I got so stressed out once I got into the age of digital art. And yeah, my line art gets way too weird, and my sketch art gets way too sketchy. But the inspiration for these creatures kind of comes from movies like The Fly and Hellraiser, that sort of thing. Which is funny because I'm watching The Fly while drawing this thing here. But if you've never seen The Fly, it takes, the concept of splicing two beings together, a human and a fly, and making this horrible amalgamation of the two. I know Rick and Morty did like a whole episode on it with like praying mantises and stuff, so it's kind of an idea of what I'm trying to do here. But I am taking a Nigerian dwarf goat and a Virginian possum, and that is the two we're combining today. And my friend wanted it to be kind of zombie-esque, so I'm gonna actually do a bit of a roadkill thing for her because possums often get hit by cars, as they do. Sorry, they often get hit by cars. It's so sad. So yeah, we're gonna kind of go to the aesthetic of that. But to give her a few more goat features, I'm gonna do some cloven hooves because she's a little too possumy right now. So we're gonna do some nice little cloven hooves here. Yeah, it's cute. Drawing cloven hooves is so weird. You draw like two like bean shapes together, make them a little pointy, and that's a hoof. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good in my opinion. And then we gotta have these little possum ears, which are cute. We're gonna do a nick out of one, and then big old. Why does this look like Mr. Ratburn from Arthur, the gay rat teacher that everyone in Alabama freaked out about? And then let me try to fix this. And now that looks like one of those long dogs. Let me do it for you. So I'm just gonna go a little bit pointy. I'm struggling with this right now. Okay, what? I'm just gonna go back to the body. I'll come back to the face in a second. What's funny is I have not changed my method of doing, like, proportions. I do the circle line technique. I've done it since I got a how to draw anime book in elementary? I think it was elementary school. Yeah, no, that was over a decade ago. Well over a decade. God, I'm old. Jesus fucking Christ. So, back to where the inspiration for these things come from. Hellraiser, I said The Fly. So if you've never seen any of the Hellraisers, there's these demons called Cenobites, and they all kind of have like different gore aesthetics to them. Like Pinhead, the iconic one, has pins in his head. And then there's others. There's one with like a tracheotomy. There's one with CDs coming out of his head or mouth, or no, they come out of his stomach. That's one of my favorite ones. There's one with a camera fused to his head. So it's just all these different. Why does this look like Big Bird? I'm just gonna put these eyelashes here. Hopefully it'll be a little less Big Birdy in a second. But I like doing gore effects. I actually really enjoy drawing kind of gore and horror and that kind of stuff just because I'm fucked in the head. I just love horror movies. I'm the type of person that when I watch a horror movie, especially one that advertises itself to be bloody, I'm like, if there's not someone like getting their face cut off, what's the point? Because I hate when movies are like, oh, it's the bloodiest movie of the year, and I watch it and I'm like, no, SpongeBob has more gore than that. And if you don't believe me, look up SpongeBob gore scenes and you will be haunted because SpongeBob has some of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in a children's cartoon. And that's saying something because I grew up on 90s cartoons and 90s cartoons were really psychotic back then. We had what is it called? Courage Cowardly Dog? That's 2000s, but 90s, 2000s. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, where there were organs all the time. I'm gonna do this little goat high. And this one I'm gonna have falling out of the head to kind of really give it that zombie look. So let's, I don't know, that looks a little dickish. But maybe if I clean up the socket here and add some veins, maybe we'll make it a little, no, that really does look like a penis. Let's see if we can make it better. Plus the eye wasn't proportional. Let's make this a little better. Let's see how that looks. No, I hate that altogether. So I'm going to do the old school tactic of just copying and pasting the eye, and we're going to rotate it. There we go. And it's a little bulgy, so we're going to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller to kind of go with the orientation of her head. Erase all these eyelashes here. And that looks much, much better in my opinion. So let's clean up the snoot. And I think I'm going to give her kind of like a half-lidded eye, just kind of closing on that optical nerve. Oh, if you want to see a good movie with optical nerves hanging out, watch Becky. It's got Kevin James, whom I hate. Kevin James is an asshole, for those who don't know. He's such a dickhole. But he gets stabbed in the eye, and then his eye's just hanging from the socket, and it's just such a good scene, because he takes a pair of scissors, and he cuts his eye from his face. And it's just so brutal. Oh, I love scenes like that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm fucked, but I'm going to copy and paste the other eye and put it there. So now we have a nice big ball for the eye. And get to get the balls in there. And there we go. I like how that looks a lot better. I feel like that's more in tune with what I want. My friend did specify that she wanted the goat eyes, so I want to also do the zombie thing, so I think the eye popping out of the head would be fun. Plus, if this was to ever be a fursuit, like if someone were to make a fursuit out of that, preferably my friend, because this is her character, I think this would be a really fun head sculpt to do. I even might turn Flesh, the axolotl cat that I showed you earlier, I might turn her into some sort of fursuit. Maybe not like a full suit, but just at least a head and paws. I think that would be cute. And I'm going to put some horns in here, but I always suck at drawing a duplicate, so I'm just going to copy and paste, because yeah, that's how we do things here. And let me rotate it to get it to line up. And I rotated the wrong way. Let me fix this. Alright. Where'd it go? Where the fuck? Okay. It just has a mind of its own. Okay, there we go. I like that. That looks good. And now I don't like this one over here. So I'm going to erase it and I'm going to paste the horn again. And let me grab it. Where'd I put it? Where'd it go? God damn it. Gotta adjust these. And there we go. That works. And now I can put this more in line with the eyebrows. And now it's its own separate layer, so I gotta erase the extra lines. But I think I'm gonna call this whole series of like creature monsters Guro, or I can't say it now. I said it so perfectly earlier. Gorories. Guories. I can't talk. Like Goro furries. So, or your Guro-Sona. Because instead of doing traditional, anthro fur art, like I said, I like horror, and I'm going to put my own spooky, creepy twist on it. And so, if you don't know what Goro art is, it's kind of like anime art, but it's gory. There are different types of Goros. So, there's the cutesy kind called Kawaii Guro, Candy Guro, or Pastel Guro. So, I'm going for more of a vibe like that. If you see something called Guro, I suggest you avoid it because that's just gore porn. And I'm not just saying it's like super bloody, it's literally porn combined with gore. And it is, it's fucked. It is really fucked. So, yeah, it's like some Siberian film sort of shit. And if you don't know what that is and you're easily triggered by shit, don't look up a Siberian film. That's the name of the movie, a Siberian film. I like how I'm giving you the information to look it up, but yeah, that movie, it's different. It's definitely fucked in the head. So, anything I do, don't compare me to that, because I'll draw my bloody possum goats, but at least I'm not drawing that shit. But Pastel Goro, it's like I said, it's cute. And so think kind of like Happy Tree Friends would be more like a Western adaptation of it. So Happy Tree Friends is a good example. What is that thing called? Gloomy Bear. Gloomy Bear is a perfect example of Goro art. It's a little more subtle, but it is still the concept of having this cutesy character covered in blood. Sometimes there's gloomy bears that are zombies. So Gloomy Bear is a perfect example of what this I'm going for. I love drawing little guts. And since we're doing a stylized thing, they don't need to be accurate or realistic looking. I just like drawing squiggles with squiggles in them and making them all squishy and lumpy. And I really like how that looks, but it kind of looks like she has a little Mr. Hanky there, so let's fix that and just make it a nice round edge. And yeah, we'll have a little doodad hanging out here. A little bile duct. That's always fun. Maybe I'll make it drippy. Drippy. So I'm only doing the line art in this video, but once I get to the coloring phase, it's going to be a lot of fun, because that's when I really get crazy with detailing is coloring. But right now I need to add just a couple more zombie things, at least within the line art, and not leave all of that to the coloring phase. But we'll have some bones, make it nice and meaty here. It's nice, got a chunk. I didn't want just clean bone. I like adding a bit of the flesh, the viscera to it, because why not? Why not have like some gross little chunks on it? Because you ever see roadkill? It is not a clean skeleton. Trust me. Or you ever like done a vulture culture type of taxidermy? Which is you literally pick up dead shit. Yeah, it's not clean. You often have to clean this shit yourself. So yeah, we're gonna have some fur hanging off these bones, some little fleshy bits, some meat that wasn't picked clean by vultures. And I really honestly love how that looks. That's gonna be a lot of fun to color in, because I'm not doing traditional like gore colors or like anatomy colors. We're going to do pastels and purples and that sort of stuff, because my friend wanted like a purple color scheme for this one. So probably a darker purple for like the meaty bits, a light purple for blood, and that sort of thing. Kind of like flesh, which you can go back and pause to get a good view of flesh. She's pink, so she is like hot pink blood, and I put glitter in the blood because that's fun. So I might make these like guts and stuff kind of glittery, just because that's always fun to do. I love glitter. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna have the one little pinky bone hanging out. Not really do too much to the hands. And I really just don't like how this boob is looking over here. It just doesn't feel right. It feels like something out of Big Mouth. And let's see if we can get this looking a little more accurate to a body. Not that I care too much about proportions because I do very stylized art. But yeah, I'm not liking how this arm and like boob area looks. That's I'm struggling with this right now. That would be the cleavage, and then the boob would come. Yeah, it would come about there with the way she's like facing. She's kind of at an angle, so that looks good. Her arm looks a little less stick-like too, so that's a bit better. Gotta clean this up now. I love how my line art phase is also still a sketching phase. It's a lot of erasing. A lot of erasing goes into my line art. And I think I'm done up there, so let me draw this. These nice little thick thighs and furry hips. That's what we all wanted in our women. And then our little hooves. I love the hooves. I think they're a fun little detail. But the worst part was, let's say hypothetically this does get turned into a fursuit. That's gonna suck on your feet. Trust me, I have made hooved shoes. I even just made a giant pair of bird shoes, kind of at this weird angle, like the weird elevated ankle, like you're standing on a high heel, for Poppy from Monster Musume. And while they looked fucking phenomenal, they were the worst thing to stand on. Alright, so I'm gonna make this look like it's coming a bit more out of the ass and not the hip. And perfect. Alright, clean this up. And my lines are so choppy, but I think it adds to the charm of my drawings. And that looks pretty good in my opinion. I like how this is coming along. Let's add these little like rat lines. Nah, I changed my mind. Let's look up a skeleton for a possum, and we are going to actually do some bones. Let's have some bones hanging off or out of this tail, but we still gotta have a bit of the meat because, like I said, you can't have a like roadkill without chunks of meat still hanging on it. And let's thin the tail out a bit so it comes better into this point. And yeah, little clumps. We're gonna have our little clumpy meats. And that looks pretty good so far. I'm already happy with how this is looking. And yeah. Alright, so the bones, pretty easy. You just kind of do little hourglass shapes and just draw them kind of nice and smooth. And it comes together pretty well. I honestly really love how this is looking, and it's all grossly drawn. Sorry, I'm so hard on myself when it comes to drawing because I haven't drawn in such a long time. Like, I drew Flesh about last week, and I should have recorded her, but I didn't realize that I could record things on my screen. I know that's a thing. I'm not saying I didn't think that existed. I just didn't know that I would be able to do it because I found software that allows me to record my screen. And I love that, but I feel like we need more ADHD. I feel like we need more bones. That little tip of the tail, it's a nice little nugget of like zombie, but I feel we need something else. So let's just draw a bunch of little lumpy out. There we go. A little bunch of lumpy hourglasses, and we'll get them nice and lined up together. And that's looking really good in my opinion. But yeah, I haven't drawn in such a long time because I'm very paranoid of criticism. I don't like it, especially when it comes to my art because I'm extremely sensitive about drawing. It used to be my favorite thing as a kid. I would draw all the time, and uh, I got into, unfortunately, Tumblr at a young age, and yeah, people are brutal on there. They talk shit about your art all the time, and yeah, I stopped drawing for such a long time. Let's add some brains here, little squiggles. And I don't think I like that. So instead of little squiggles, I'm gonna do kind of like little lumpy peanuts and little turds, a little shit for brains. And that's more brainy in my opinion. Like I said, it's stylized. It doesn't need to be anatomically correct, but I wanted to at least read like some goop. And let's erase that little dot that looked like a pussy crack. Let's get the nails here and a little detailing in the hand, chip in the hoof, add a little character, and I honestly really like how this looks. We'll continue this another time, TBC. Thank you so much for watching this, and stay tuned for the coloring. And my pen stopped working. Shit. There we go. Fuck you. Bye-bye.